Hello everyone. We were going through the videos and was getting ready to start the editing on part 4 and realized I didn't have an introduction, so I'm doing it now. And we're gonna put this in there. This is the introduction to part 4, which is the ventilation fan installation and the Shroud building. So kick back, grab a cup of coffee. We'll be back very quickly and let you hope you enjoy the ride. Okay, first thing I had to do was build a frame, but I couldn't find my corner clamp, so I had to kind of make something that would work it. This is all, what do you call it, it's plastic. And that's going to be my frame for the outside of this, which is the ventilation fan with the louvers. I'm gluing this together to hold it there just long enough for me to get holes drilled through it and some carriage bolts. There'll be 2 carriage bolts on each side, 2 up there, 2 down here, 2 here, and 2 there. That way it will have this to push against the shed or the house, generator house, in order to help hold this into place. The other end will go through the generator house and into these holes. Now, with that being said, I found an old cord that went to something, and remarkably it had a clamp on the end of it that will fit right into a hole on the side of the motor. So all I've got to do now is press this into position. I won't need to use a release clamp here and here, which they have holes for. And then take some wire nuts, wire nut it together and put the ground down, and this will be put together. I have to strip these down, get some wire nuts. I've got them. And we'll get that all hooked up and get that put in. And then that part will be done. We'll be back later when, we'll be back later when we show you some more progress. Okay, it's the next day, and the last half hour that I worked yesterday was for naught. I'm using this, I can't even think of the name of it. It's not rosin. It's the plastic trim work that, you know, for windows and doors. I cut it and it made a frame. And I went and glued it all together to find out this morning that glue doesn't hold it. So you can tell what I did. I had to drill and countersink on each corner, 2 of them on each corner. And then I sunk a 2-inch decking screw in to hold it. I did re-glue it too, but to still hold it into position. Now, as you can see it right now, I have the fan turned upside down and laying on it. This is going to be the way it is actually going to be out on the shed when it's all mounted. But the difference is going to be this groove here where it steps in. Mama said I should put it back here. I think I agree with her. And I also am thinking very seriously about putting a type of a shroud over it, because to help with with rain, blowing rain mainly. I do not know how well these louvers will seal against blowing rain. I have some sheet metal. Maybe I can make something that'll go over it. Anyway, I don't know if you can see it or not. I have marked all 8 of these holes so that I can pre-drill them. That way they will be exactly in the same place when I go and mount it up back here. because this is going to be on the inside, that's going to be on the outside. When I get the hole cut, I can then clamp this frame against that after I adjust for the humps and the bumps, and then drill through those existing holes through the shed to find these holes, and then I will be ready to put the bolts in. So that's where I'm at right now. I've got carriage bolts that's going to go through, and hopefully they will sink into this plastic board. Man, I wish I could remember what they call that. Anyway, that's what it's going to be the next time around, but right now I've got to let this dry a little bit, and we got company coming. It's Labor Day, so we're going to be off of this for a while, probably work on it a little bit later on, late this afternoon or early evening. Okay, we're back at it again the next day, and we got to make this frame fit. Now, the frame from here to here is 13.5 inches, or I could say from here to here. This from here to here, which is where down that way, but it's still going to be where the fan is going to set, is 10.25. So what I had to do was take 1.25 inch here and here, and I'm going to take that off and shave that off by a total of that amount on the table saw, that being 1/4 inch. So in other words, we're going to make a groove right down through here at 1/4 inch. I'm praying that I don't hit those screws. If I had thought about it beforehand, I would have put them screws different place. Unfortunately, I don't have enough of this to make more. I do have that longer piece right there, but you know, I don't think that would make two if I needed to redo them. But we're going to try it and see what happens. All right, we'll be back and show you the outcome. Okay, we used that framework to mark out what needs to be cut. Now we have to cut all of this out and see if she fits. Let's get busy. You notice the marks are gone? That's because I got looking at this and realized that on the inside, right about here, there's a support rod that's going from one side to the other. And that would have put those bolts right into the middle of that and taken that support away, so I had to move it down. And I went ahead and got it cut out, so now I cannot back out. And what I realized is this is going to be sitting right over top of the exhaust system, which really in a way is going to be kind of cool because it's going to help pull the heat off that exhaust as it's bringing air in. Instead of being heat off the roof, it's going to take it right off the exhaust, which, you know, really that's not a bad thing. So, okay. We got to get some wood cut, got to get it inserted in there, and we got to get this all foamed up because, again, I am foaming it like I did the other one. It actually made it stronger, and that's kind of what we want. Cut, wood-filled, foamed. Be back out tomorrow and see if we can get this thing mounted. Okay, I just came up to a realization, and I'm glad it was now rather than later when I've got everything assembled. This side here, this side of this house, generator house, is going to be facing predominant winds to the most part, which means when we get the high winds, blowing rain, things of that order, this will basically be kind of an open window to the most part for water to come right in on top of the generator and everything else, or at least leaking, let's put it that way, because the louvers do not close completely tight. I had the fan and the louver setting up in here, and I could see daylight all the way through. So what I have to do now is to build a shroud that will protect it, but yet will not restrict it. That's what I'm getting ready to do now. I've taken my measurements. I'm getting ready to put the framework up against this temporarily so that I can drill the holes. So I'm going to clamp and just go ahead and drill the holes. But for the most part, I got to build that shroud, and then I will be getting it mounted all at the same time with the fan and the louvers. We'll be back and show you the progress. Okay, we're in the process of making this shroud. These are going to be the two edges right here. And what we're going to do, this far side being the top, this is going to fit inside. The framework is basically going to be like this, where you can see the frame comes down and across, and then I'll lay the caulking along the outside here. But I'll also get on my, and I'll put some caulking here to make sure, and not to forget there's going to be all the way around here if I can. Now this is going to be the tough one, but it's all, or this one up here is going to be the tough one. But it's also going to be one of the easiest ones because I may not have to do it because it's clear up at the top. This is going to cover and coat all of that. It will come out, bend over, come down the outside, and then get pop riveted. This will get sliced where the radius is, or maybe it's better to do it here. And then when it starts the radius, it'll be sliced into to try to cover it, and there'll be a number of pop rivets there. And that's also going to be sealed to try to help keep it just a little bit. And it should be just about right. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there should be just a hair of an overhang, not much. Okay, we'll be back in a little bit. Well, I think this is going to work. I'll have to make a couple slices here for the folds, but this will fold right down and should come just a little there, or maybe even a little proud. Pop rivet 3 or 4 across here, and whatever's necessary around here and on the other side, and then do the caulking. That will come out. That screw right there will come out when I go to mount it, because there's a ridge right down through there. I don't need that if I've got everything else already done. So yeah, I think that's going to possibly work. I really do. Okay. Again, that's taken more time than I had anticipated. We're done for the night. We'll be back tomorrow and see what we can do. Okay, we've got, I'll try to get in closer here so that you can see. Every inch I made a slice, so that this would actually be able to turn around that radius that I created with the side pieces. Now my intentions are, every one once, I'm going to have to use my clamps to get this tight all the way around till I get to here. Then this will be, you know, so there's going to be at least 8 rivets here. There'll be 8 on the other side, plus what it takes from here out to the end, which is going to be at least 3 or 4. I hope I got that many rivets. But anyway, I wanted to show you how this overlaps each one, and I will put one in the middle of each one here. And by riveting each one of these, it should draw that down, make it real nice. And then I'll go along on the inside and put a caulking seal that should take care of it. So we will be back in a little bit to show you the outcome. Well, there's the shroud. Let me see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 on each top rivets on each side. And you can see that here. Now, on the inside is the frame that I built out of the fiberboard or the plastic board that will go up against this. Then, like I said, all along this edge and the top edge and the bottom side edge, I will be caulking. Now I have, I put some scratches in it. You can see them right there. But I got it built, and it, once I get the caulking inside that ridge and there, then all I have to do is try to figure out what I can do right here to leave it as open as possible, but yet close it up for against critters and bugs. I've got a little bit of tasking yet to do on this before I'm completely finished. But I think it'll work. I hope it'll work. I pray it's gonna work. It'll be bad. And you know how people say never throw anything away? Well, because I'm kind of like that, I'm able to actually have a critter screen on this. I had a bunch of screen in rolls, but found out that it was basically your fiberglass or whatever you want to call it. But I found an old expandable screen for putting the windows, you know, the wood frame, and it had the steel or metal screen. So I was able to take a piece of old 3/4 inch plywood, treated plywood, cut out a frame, take this, put it where the screen was on the top side. I'm not going to say the critters can't get in there. Tiny critters are going to get in right there, probably right there. I may go ahead and put a little caulking on it, but I still think that's going to work. And it's screwed in. I got 4 screws holding it in. So if I determine that that is getting clogged in any way, it needs to be cleaned, it's easy to do so. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Okay, be back in a moment. Oh yeah, and if you're wondering what that background noise is, that's Mamba's tumblers over there in her tent doing what they do best. Tumbling and tumbling and tumbling. She sets those things up for 7 days at a time, and then has to redo them again 3 or 4 more times. So it takes a long time to do and to get shiny stones out of those rocks that we have. So yep, they be tumbling in the background. Have to deal with it. And where is the shroud? It's mounted. Even if you notice the white screws, it even has a screen on it, but just take a look here. We also have the fan mounted. And it works. And there's plenty of room. It moves plenty of air. So I think we've got this one done. 1 more to go. And that would, or not 1 more, 2 more to go, but the next one is going to be for the exhaust, which should be right around in there. And that's another part that I was talking about, that this is going to be pulling a lot of heat off of that exhaust. So hopefully, we will see. This is Stay at Homer, and we hope you enjoyed your visit. Don't forget to give us thumbs up, subscribe, and tell your family and friends. Don't forget to tell your local sheet metal worker. I know this is run just a little bit long, but when you're starting to make things, it takes a little bit longer. We'll catch y'all the next time. Y'all have a blessed, blessed day. Bye-bye.